Today we'll start with Florida Panthers, a team that has been a bit elevator team, playoffs, out of playoffs, almost playoffs. Do you think that this year will be step forward or backwards, that they would either stabilize themselves as a playoffs team in the East, or will they go back to the bottom third of the conference standings?
It's a very good question. Florida has been very inconsistent, just like you said. We are having a bit of a difficulty to predict what's going to happen with them. Last year, they did well for a while. From Christmas to somewhere around February, they played really well. Then after, they were horrible and still managed to make the playoffs. But I think Florida will have a difficult season this time around. It's now a central division they're playing in. They might have to, though they have to travel a little bit more. Of course, they have their local rivals as well, Tampa and the like. So there are the tough teams in the top, but the division is notoriously bad in the bottom. So there might be some chances for them to make the top four at least. But how have we been doing with their predictions in the past?
Overall, Florida's win percentage at home has been below 55%, and on the road 43%. So this kind of middle of the pack average team in these numbers, and there hasn't been too much great success in betting in different categories. Maybe one to highlight is the total bets on the road. So there, if bettors have followed our simulations, they made $1,470 during last 3 seasons. But maybe one interesting topic is that when they have come back from the road to home games to Miami, they've played first game, or they have won first game only 53%. But then when they have been back-to-back games at home, the win percentage has increased to over 61. So I think they are maybe tired from the traveling in a first home game, but then when they get play in their right direction at home, they are pretty good team. And that would be one good topic keep in mind when you are placing bets when Florida is playing at home. So are they playing back to back, or is this a first game of the home stretch? But you mentioned that they are playing in Central Division. How the other teams match up with them in the new division?
Yeah, that's interesting to see. I'm gonna just take a while to to see the point that you were making of the first home game after a long stretch on the road. Is probably also because when you return home, you have a little bit of this comfort, and you see your family for a while, and all these sort of distractions back home. So maybe that's one of the reasons. We've been doing some research before on this, and it tends to be the case that the first home game back from the road trip is always a bit more difficult than if it is then a back-to-back. The second game is always better. So something to keep an eye out, especially in this very strange season, a short season, and then when we play a lot of games in short period of time, back-to-backs and even back-to-back-to-back. So something to keep an eye out for sure. What comes to the divisional matchups, it'll be extremely interesting to see Florida play against the Western Conference teams that they've not faced that much previously. Of course, like I said, the rivalry between Tampa Bay is a bit different because Florida is at the bottom. Tampa is probably still up there. So it might be a big division between the top of this division and the bottom. But how does it look on our simulations? How have we been doing against these certain Central Division teams?
I think Florida has performed pretty much how we have predicted them to perform, because they won the lousy teams like, let's say, Detroit, They played 11 times during the last 3 seasons, and the win percentage is 72. So they have basically dominated Detroit, especially on the road. And then against tough teams like you mentioned, Tampa Bay, Carolina as well, the win percentage for Florida has been somewhere around 20%. So I think when there's a side value or expected value for Florida against underdogs, that may be good time to place a bet, or at least historically our simulations have provide reasonable profit in those kind of games.
That's great. Let's take a little look on the roster changes, what they've done this season. Bobrovsky is still in the goal. He's a really good goaltender. Florida's defense makes any goaltender look bad at the moment, so I think there is something for the coaching staff to make a lot better, is to get the defense working. They scored a lot of goals last season. They also allowed a lot of goals. I think they were at least in top 10 in each category league-wide, so there is something to look into. Of course, they lost a lot of firepower. Hoffman's left, Dadonov's gone. They brought in a little bit more grit in Patrick Hörnqvist and Alex Wennberg, for example. So they are lacking a little bit of the scoring support behind Alexander Barkov and Jonathan Huberdeau, who also need to do a little bit better. They have to be more consistent in order for Florida to win games. It doesn't look that good. The team is better defensively in the offense than offensively in the defense. So the attackers are able to defend better than their defense is, which is not a good sign by any means. But for the season simulations, how have we been doing in the past with the Panthers?
So, like mentioned, Panthers have been either just above the playoffs threshold or just below it. And 3 years ago, they missed playoff by 1 point. And that time we predicted them to be dead last in Eastern Conference. So that wasn't so accurate. And they were overperforming quite a bit to our simulations. But then 2 years ago, we predicted them to go under, and that was correct. And then last year, same thing. We predicted them to just reach the playoffs, and that's what they did. And if the season would continue as is, and their performance was pretty much same as when the season was cut short, they would end up under. That was our prediction as well. So I think whatever the line will be, let's see if our season point and season win totals are somehow below it, and I think that would be a safe bet, because at least I don't see any great changes from the last season that are making this team much better.
Yeah, I agree definitely with this. In the simulations, you can see that they're losing the games against the better teams constantly, and then they are beating the likes of Detroit. But that's not enough, of course, to make it to the playoffs in this season. That is consisting of these small playoff series, basically against each team in the division. So there are a couple of teams in there who have a lot of question marks, which we will return later. So Florida might stand outsider challenger chance to make it to the playoffs, but like anything above that is just beyond reach at the moment, at least.
What kind of bets and odds there are currently available for Florida? Is it some worth to bet for the playoff spot or even Stanley Cup?
For the division win, Florida is third last favored, of course, right after Detroit and Chicago, actually, with odds of 800. I think that's pretty correct. They are on the fringe of making it to, in the fourth, fifth, sixth spot, but I don't see any value in there for the division. And to talk about Stanley Cup is it's useless at this point. So let's not go there at all.
Yeah, I just wonder why you are not wearing your Florida Panthers jersey, because that would be, of course, good view for all the viewers here in our season preview.
Yeah, I didn't have it with me on the vacation, so it's not the first
Okay.
thing I pack usually.
But I'm pretty sure that if Florida will hit stride and win 9 games in a row, you will wear it days and nights.
Absolutely, in everywhere, every city, every town I go.
Very good. We'll see if that happens, and if that would be good bet for anybody during the season to bet multiple games back to back, especially on the road.
Yeah, let's do that. Also the totals over.
Will do.
Yeah. See ya.